Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Council podcast. Today's going to be a bit of a different show. We're having a debate basically after some arguments during lectures between Ryan and Luke over whether the IPL or the County Championship as a format is more interesting and more enjoyable to watch. I realised we all realised it would be interesting to have a discussion about it on here. So that's going to be the sort of main activity of the week this week. Rayan, how are we?
Yeah, mate. Pretty much interested for the debate. I'm on the side of IPL in this podcast. Let's see how it goes. How you
And
guys doing?
good. Luke, how are we?
Very well. I've just got two new pairs of glasses, which should help me see.
That's good.
Specsavers, £155, 2-for-1 deal, including an eye test. So I was quite happy with that.
I mean, as a gloating T20 vision, 2020 vision merchant, I don't know what the plight of opticians is like, to be honest. Never been.
As an older gentleman, I feel like you two have it to come.
Oh, I'm braced. Both my folks have got specs, so it's only a matter of time. But for now, I'm gonna enjoy reading. I can read Bradford and Bingley, which is a cricket birthday card I got of players playing at, I think it's at Scarborough. I can read Bradford and Bingley, which is one of the sponsors from quite a while away. So
yeah, I'm embracing my inner Jack Leach glasses cloth.
Yeah, just go and make sure you've got a little sort of, what do you call it? Little sort of, not a towel, glasses cleaner. Glasses cleaners.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Little nugget of information that I just saw this morning before we get on to the main debate this morning is Indonesia's. I don't know if either of you have seen this. Indonesia's Rohmalia breaks record for best spell in IT20s. In T20 International, sorry. 17-year-old Indonesian bowler took 7 for naught.
Oh God!
To take figures.
Who was the opposition?
She was playing in the 5th. I'm reading this from the ICC website. In the 5th T20 International bilateral series against Mongolia in Bali. She bowls 20 deliveries. They were all dots, and she got 7 batted out as well in the process. Just having a little look through the article below. Indonesia won the bilateral series 6-0.
I would like to see some footage from this series just to see what the standard of cricket is like.
I want to try and find the it was somewhere on the article. There's the actual match score. I think Mongolia got bowled out for here we go. So Indonesia made 151 and then bowled Mongolia out for 24. So it sounds like it's a bit of an unfair.
And I think in these sort of associate nations, you do tend to get some mismatches. I seem to remember Argentina played Chile or something in the women's.
That's just like pure Copper America, like sort of.
Yeah, no, but I think it made the BBC News because I think I'll have to try and get it up. But I think Argentina scored about 350 in a T20, and one of the girls got 200. So.
Oh, so good. Right. The great debate. I'm on the side, obviously, being boring and like a self-proclaimed purist, on the side of the long form with Luke and Ryan. You're representing the IPL. Should we set some parameters of what the debate actually is? Because I've just been a bit loose and abstract with my description so far.
All right, before you move on, so I've got that article. Argentina scored 428
Oh my
in
God.
20 overs, and the most runs in a single over was 52.
Bloody hell.
How was it possible?
52? Wait, what? There's like no like just
I think
twice.
one of the Chilean bowlers, yipped up. Look, the over included 17 no balls.
Why did they just stop the over? Is there not a thing where you can only have so many balls, or is that just a club cricket thing to keep it moving?
Nah, in theory, they're infinite, right? That's
Yeah,
like my worst ever nightmare. You just can't finish the over.
just tossing and turning in bed, just going down the leg side. Oh my God. Right. Okay. So the great debate. So I'm thinking the actual conversation is, do we think the IPL is just too many sixes? Is that the debate? Or is it, well, or is it more, what's the better spectacle? What's the better spectacle in it?
For me, yeah, my sort of criticism of the IPL, and I loathe to criticize it, given probably 80% of our listeners are from India and probably have a very different view to me. But my point is
generous. What about 90?
My point is, it's not a fair contest between bat and ball this season. I don't think. I don't watch a lot of the matches, but I obviously see the scores, and I'm seeing 240 in the first innings, and that's actually chaseable now. And it just reminds me of stick cricket, where every second ball is going for six, and for me it takes some of the enjoyment out of it. I know there are obviously exceptions, like I think Bumrah, Rayan. I was listening to a game you were commentating on when I think Bumrah was on a hat trick, maybe, and so stuff like that is really exciting. But I think it's just too few and far between in this season's IPL.
Yeah, we are all agree with you, mate. If I said we means I and the 80% of the, not the 80%, a maximum of Indian fans who are watching IPL this season, because the impact player rule, which affects the game very much. So it's like, we have a 12 player in a match who are playing. So it takes bowling away from the game. Nowadays, the mindset of a bowler will be, okay, whatever happens, the maximum runs we given will be the six sixes in an over.
Yeah, right. Can I cut you off quickly and just ask to clarify for some listeners might not know, what the sub impact new rule is?
Yeah, so the impact player rule will be, so apart from the 11, you have to name the other 4 people in a 15 squad.
Yeah.
So for example, if you won the toss and you choose to bat, while you bat, because all of a sudden you lose 3 or 4 wickets and you score only 30 plus runs, then you have a chance of replacing the batter who got out with a new batter.
Okay, so literally you literally just have you have 11, you have 12 batters,
12 players
basically, instead of 11.
And similar with, so if you batted really well, then you can opt out a batter with the bowler. So once a batter scored a century and he didn't take the field, and instead of him, a bowler will take the field and bowl 4 overs. So there's no role of an all-rounder.
So you would have your, like, let's say you had one of your batters crap at fielding, you just stick another bowler in. Yeah. Okay.
I hate these rules that they add in.
That's insane. That's awful. That's awful. That's horrible.
Because it doesn't reflect. So you go to a T20 World Cup, it's not like you're going to have this impact sub. I don't know why you're trying to change the fundamentals of the game. I suppose maybe they look at football and they see how can we align with football. But for me, don't change what isn't broke. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's really adding.
BCCI want to compete with the other cricket boards, so the rule change was first come in the Big Bash. So I think BCI also want to finger some rule changes in the IPL to spice up things. I think
Yeah, I remember
some human.
They tried it in the UK as well in the county system. I think when we had a 40-over competition, they introduced the super sub rule in a similar sense. But yeah, I think it stayed for 1 or 2 seasons, and then you never hear about it.
Yeah, I think this will be the last season. This rule will come into the play. I think most of the players are not a fan of this rule, and all are opposing this rule. They don't want this. So I think BCI will scrap this idea from next year.
I mean, if I was a batter, I would quite like it. Get your runs in the first innings and then put your feet up.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, I'm not a fan.
Go in field. It feels just, I don't know, that just feels like too much meddling in our game. No, that's not what I think, but it's just, it just feels like a bit too much, like almost too much excitement is how when you see so many sixes and stuff, it takes the value off a six. So if you get onto county champs and someone hits a six, it's like, oh my God, he's hit a six. And I know it's different format. The ball's probably doing quite a lot more. And it's, you've got a lot longer, so you're not going to take as many risks with the boundaries. But I just feel like shot making is more notable when it happens because it's a bit rarer.
For me, it just becomes totally unrelatable. Not that as an amateur cricketer you can always relate to elite sport, but it's just you see these guys going in. No, it's just club cricket, how often has an average club cricketer hit back-to-back sixes or multiple sixes in an over? It just doesn't happen. And obviously it's an amazing skill, but I feel the boundaries are getting shorter, the bats are getting bigger, the batters are getting stronger, and then we're trying to make it easier for them, and it's just becoming more and more hard for the bowlers. And I feel like it takes away some of the skill from batting. And I think a low-scoring thriller, I think we'd all agree, is more exciting than 250 plays 250, where every second ball is going to the boundary.
Yeah. Ray, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Luke, but it's only for the people who watch cricket all through the year. For example, in India, most of the people don't watch cricket all through the year. Only a few people do. So in the summer, most of the women, younger ones, the working people, they do watch only IPL throughout the year. So for those people, cricket is like only a batsman's game. They love to watch sixes. They love to watch boundaries, teams scoring 200 plus runs, getting bashed. So that's what they think cricket is. For those people, IPL is entertaining. So they just want to chill around sitting in their sofa, watching the batsmen getting sixes for fun. That's what they think cricket is. Back in India, that's the reality. So they don't know the technicalities of cricket. Most people don't know what's LPW.
Yeah.
But they watch cricket. For them, it's just like sixes and fours.
I think I just want to stress it's not occasionally if 250 plays 250, that's exciting because it's out of the norm. But when it becomes the norm and it's happening every week or every other week, that's when I have a problem with it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys because as a amateur cricketer, as a cricket fan who watches Test crickets, while I watching IPL, I get bored. Even I didn't watch yesterday's game. I started losing interest, to be honest, from this season.
Right.
But yeah,
Rayan, are you sure you're all right? Because you saying you didn't watch an IPL game does worry me a little bit.
Because yesterday
is this like I want to play Rayan or something on the other line?
No, wait, I know. I agree with Luke. Nowadays, no, every match a team scores 200 plus. So I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? Nothing spicy here. Usual
Yeah,
200 plus. So if I want to watch a game, I'll watch the last 5 hours of a chasing.
yeah.
That's more interesting. A team needs more, planning, where to set the field, which ball the bowler wants to bowl. So that's more interesting. The last 5 hours, but the initial overs are, too a waste of a time. In a power play, a bowler comes and bowl, a batsman just hit him for a six. That's it.
I know, I know. Well, I know it's not T20, but a good sort of gauge of like why it's an issue that it's come so normal is I remember when England hit like 450 or something in a 50 over game a few years ago. I remember just being in the car on the way to school, just my mind blown that it was possible to score of like over 400 in 50 overs. Where now, I don't know if it's to do with the problem I've got in debating this is I haven't watched enough IPL. I'm assuming the decks are flat, and I mean, I suppose it is. It must be geared for batting in that way. Um, and I just can't like. I don't know. I just can't get behind the idea of that being. I mean, it just isn't the most exciting format. Like you want the bowls on top, I think,
Yeah.
for a good spectacle. But yeah, you've explained well the mentality, perhaps of would it be harsh to say the mentality of Indian cricket fans to just they enjoy seeing
Yeah, yeah,
runs
yeah,
being
yeah. I
scored?
agree with you. But to put in a simple context, so I related with the movies. So Test cricket or the long form cricket is like the offbeat films like Good Will Hunting, and the shorter formats T20 is like the fantasy one like Harry Potter. Both
Or
are
like, is
entertainable.
it?
Both are
Would you say
watching.
it's like Fast and Furious, Rayan?
Yeah, Fast and Furious maybe. So
Fast
both
and
are
Furious
entertaining.
versus Good Will Hunting.
Both are box office hits. Both are gainable and appealable to the audience, but the audience have different genres, different tastes, like. So that's how some people watch Fast and Furious, some people watch Good Will Hunting, some people watch both Fast and Furious and Good Will Hunting. So that's how the Indian fans are, but most people in India only watch Fast and Furious, didn't watch Good Will Hunting
Fast and
because
Furious 15 or whatever.
yeah.
So do
Uh,
you think a team will score 300 in this year's IPL?
It's possible, mate. Anything is possible in this season with the impact player rule and the grounds, the due, everything.
Yeah, it's funny you said for all the like old man whinging from me, like, oh no, that's scoring too quickly. If someone scores 320 overs, that would turn me on a little bit, to be fair.
Yeah, so no,
That
I
would
want to
still
share an
be
incident in the last week.
unbelievable.
I know I want to share an incident in last week match. So you guys know I went to the county match between Sussex and
Yeah,
Gloucester.
yeah, yeah.
So I spoke with some of the people there. All peoples are age 60 plus. So one of them asked me, "Why you guys lost interest in the Test cricket? Why you guys don't watch Test cricket?" I said, "No, I watch Test cricket because
Yeah.
what their perspective was, the young people didn't watch Test cricket because it's too boring. That's how they think."
That's annoyed me for a different way. That's just like, well, that's just
But
wrong. Because
I
every
love,
young person I know who likes cricket likes Test cricket.
yeah,
So that's just
but
bollocks.
the people who aged are, they're so fascinating about the game. They have the scorecards in their hand. They score for every ball. I didn't see that in India. That's so fascinating for me in England. They
It
follow the
fascinates
every
me as
single
well, to
ball.
be honest, doing the scoring. But uh, I think that might be a thing yeah, I don't know if people our age want to be doing the scoring, to be fair. Um, but yeah, I mean, I suppose that's a quite good comparison to draw, Ray. Is would you say excitement? How was your it's a bit of an abstract question. How is your excitement levels comparing? So obviously Sussex had quite an exciting finish on Monday.
Yeah.
What would you say was more exciting? That Sussex finish. We'll come to Sussex's match. I'd quite like to speak about it for a bit. And how does that compare to, like, I don't know, an exciting finish in the IPL?
So when Sussex match was happening at the same time, my favorite team Mumbai is playing against Rajasthan in the IPL. So I was like watching the match with the phone and watching the match directly. But at a certain point of time, I got glued into the Sussex match. That's the truth. That's the honest. Even if I said IPL is more excited, but instead of watching the IPL game, I started watching the county game because at the end it got more interesting. Whether after they lost Finnets and Prentice, I was like, okay, what's going to happen then?
Yeah.
So I started watching the county match, and as a fan, the excitement in the ground, the Gloucestershire players started talking, highly. That their noise was, higher than the whole crowd. So when Sussex started losing wickets, the Gloucestershire players, started believing they will win, and the excitement starts around, and they spread their fielders. That's quite interesting for me. But still, I didn't tell IPL is not exciting. No, there are certain types of audience, so you can't force the people to start liking something which they didn't like.
Very true.
So both are interesting, but as a fan who plays cricket, who dwells into cricket so much, I love long format more than the shorter formats.
Yeah. I mean, I think you raise a good point with if the Indian audience likes the big hitting, then that's what's important, really. Audience is king for these kind of things. So, it's fair enough that the BCCI gear it to that. It's their, I don't like using the word product, but it is their product. And so it makes sense that they, have flat decks, that they have an impact club to create, create basically a run fest for a lot of games. Do you think you could convince? How do you think the Indian wider audience could be convinced of the joys of Test matches?
That's really hard to convince, mate. So as a child, I started watching Test cricket because of my father. So no one forced me to watch cricket. No one take me and put me in front of TV to watch cricket. So it's like you have to develop your own interest to watch the Test cricket or any form of cricket. But what difficult for the most Indian fans are, not only Indian fans, the cricket fans are. So at certain age you started working, you started going to college or university, you don't have time to catch up everything in cricket. So Test cricket is like 7 hours long, 7 or 8 hours long. So it's hard to catch the whole game. So for them it's like, instead of watching a Test game, they start watching a 3 hour T20 game, so they can catch the whole game from the start to the end. So I think that time makes people to watch T20 cricket rather than, and the people who don't know much about cricket, they just there's so many. Cricket is the most technical related game. There's so many rules, so many things. Not everyone can understand everything. Even us can sometimes feel difficult to understand some things like the wide call or the no ball call. There's so many things happened in the every single cricket game. So for a common audience, they just want to sit and relax, just watch, spend a few hours of watching a cricket. That's it. They just feel happy about hitting sixes and balls. That's it. If when you think about IPL is, so the name of the cities. So for example, if Chennai and Mumbai is playing, there's someone from Chennai and Mumbai are watching. So it's like they want their team to win. That's it. They don't want to into the any technicalities of the game. They don't want how people are playing, how they're hitting runs. they don't want that at all. They just want their team to win. That's it.
Yeah, that's quite explained that pretty well. That makes it makes a lot of that is just it's quite logical, but it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? As to sort of why it's basically just it's just audience driven
I totally get that
situation.
on the time you're talking about, and it's not like I would sit there and watch every hour of a 4-day game or a 5-day test match, but I like the ability to sort of dip in and out, because there are periods in 4 days or test matches that are really, really dull. Like I will completely honestly say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like looking at the scores, looking at who's doing well. If something exciting's happening, I'll put it on YouTube. I'll tune in for a little bit. But yeah, I totally understand it. If you've got time free in the evening and you want to go watch something that's exciting, T20 is your best bet. And in the UK, when you probably haven't been to a Blast game yet, Rayan, but you'll see the audience is so different, rather than 70-year-olds in the crowd who are scoring the game. You'll have more sort of young professionals, people going after work, people going to socialise, having a beer, and the atmosphere is a lot better, but it tends to appeal to a wider audience, not just the sort of die-hard cricket fan.
The badgers.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of the 100 as well, to try and engage people who aren't traditionally interested in the game. And then the hope is that they will take a broader interest in the game as a whole, maybe get into test cricket. But my problem with 100 then is, why are the rules so different and why is it presented so differently? I get it's a shorter format, but they don't have overs, I don't think.
They have the overs, but each over you have to bowl only 5 balls.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And you can bowl 2 consecutive overs.
Yeah, I think you can bowl the 10 ball thing.
Yeah,
that's it. For me, I think they should have spent that money investing it in the T20 Blast rather than developing this whole new competition. But I guess that's a conversation
for another day. Let's park that, because I think a chat about the 100 would be it keeps cropping up every week for a short snippet. So let's maybe the week before the 100 starts, let's have a proper conversation.
I think it doesn't start till August anyway, so
you could get a good argument put together in those 2 months or whatever. It's just flashed up saying the Zoom meeting has 5 minutes left, so I think we should.
Okay, so I just have a question to you guys. So you guys told that you don't want to see too many sixes and fours getting hit in a cricket game, right? So, but nowadays, England test team is also playing basketball. They're just treating the test cricket like shorter formats. They started hitting boundary single over. So what's the difference between watching the test cricket and the T20 cricket? So nowadays batsmen are doing the same thing in both the formats. So why test cricket is more entertaining for you guys and why T20 cricket is don't?
Because, well, I think it's more gearing the game to allow batters to be able to do that. You've seen with the England side, when they're batting well, they can do it sometimes, but they certainly don't always do it. They're still got a collapse in them. They lost 4-1 in India because they didn't bat well enough. A large part of that because they threw away good positions, etc. So I would say it's more an issue with gearing the match to suit the batters completely with flat decks. Obviously, the white ball doesn't swing around as much, and having an impact sub. Also, England have some great. But the thing with baseball isn't. It's another debate, really, isn't it? Baseball isn't hitting boundaries. That's not what Brendan McCullum isn't saying, well, who knows, maybe he is. But I think from when you listen to interviews, you listen to what, other commentators and journalists when they're talking about the games, it's a state of mind. It's a go out there and be positive, go out there and play your game, go out there and try not to worry about the result, because ultimately you can only really damage your mental state by worrying about the result, and therefore worrying getting out, and therefore you're thinking about getting out. You're not just thinking, right, how can I score some runs? Because that's the objective of Batters, is how can I score some runs here. I don't think Bazball is, and we might go at 5 and over sometimes. It's still not 12 and over, still not 10 and over. And they probably, Bazball, I suppose, because part of Bazball, I've just said how it's not all about hitting and everything. There is still an element if they pick players who are good at that positive boundary hitting approach, probably for good reason. They're still not going at 10 and over. So I think it's...
But still, 5 runs in an over in Test cricket is a new thing for a Test format.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Will's saying, and if I just try and put it into an anecdote, so it was the first ball of the Ashes and Crawley hit Cummins for 4. That was so exciting, because how often does the first ball of a Test match or an important Test match series get smashed through the covers for 4?
Yeah.
And I don't think Bazball is about slogging, as Will said. It's about playing proper cricket, but having intent and being positive. And there's just more elements to it in Test cricket, because the ball swings around more. There are periods where you have to sit in and accumulate. Whereas going back to the IPL specifically, I just feel that bowlers are so limited in what they can actually do to stop these big hitting batsmen getting runs. And I don't know whether it's because the grounds are too small, the pitches are too flat, the ball doesn't stay hard long enough. I think it's a culmination of factors. But I think, a little bit of skill has been taken out of the IPL.
So, I agree with Luke saying, but the perspective of the people who watch cricket. So, for example, if you start watching Test cricket, so in your mind you think that Test cricket is like the even competition between both bat and ball. So you think that okay, the batsmen are not going to score runs even before started watching. But when the opposite thing happens, you got excited, because your thinking was not happened. So the opposite was happened. The batsman start hitting the 4 in the first ball. So which excites your brain. But when you start watching T20 cricket, even you yourself, you told to yourself, so the batsmen are going to hit for 4 and 6s for fun. So you started watching T20 cricket like, okay, it's a batsman's game. So it doesn't get excited, because you already know batsmen are going to hit 4 and 6s. But when you watch Test cricket, you don't know whether batsman is going to hit or not.
Exactly. It's less certain. That is the point that I'm trying to make. And I don't want to rubbish the T20 format or the IPL at all. I'm sure there's been great games. I saw the other day Dhoni scored 20 off 4 balls or something like that, which obviously excites me. And I think there was one team chased 220 on the last ball, or lost by 1 run, or so games like that are obviously exciting, but when you see them all the time, 250, 200, that's when it gets a bit dull for me.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, but when we think in the common people perspective, who don't know nothing about the white ball or red ball Cobra ball, Duke's ball, and nothing about the pitch. They just know only the bowlers comes and runs and bowl, and the batsman hits. They know that's how that's all they know. So from their perspective, they when they watch Test cricket, for them it's like, why the ball moving so away from the batsman. They don't know nothing. They don't know why the ball is moving, what's in swing or what's out swing, how the pitch behaves in the morning, how it deteriorates towards the end of the day. They just know the bowler comes, runs and bowl, and the batsman starts hitting. That's it. So when batsmen don't hit the ball for a boundary in a Test cricket, they are like, why batsman didn't try to play and hit force. They don't know the matches for 5 days. But when they watch T20 cricket, the batsmen start hitting right from the first ball. So they love that. So uh, when people who know something about cricket, uh, when they watch Test cricket, that's more entertaining and exciting for them, because they know why the ball starts moving, what's LBW, how the bowlers trying to get the batsmen out, how the batsmen tested the bowlers to change their line and length. That's interesting for the people who know the rules, who know the game. But people who don't know that, that's a little bit more for them. So what I believe is, to get cricket more to the more people, we know we want people to get invested into the game, to know the rules, to know the trickier things. For example, so I spoke with my aunt last night. She didn't know much about cricket, nothing about cricket, but she spoke to me about the dew, about the white ball something, because of the IPL. So while they're watching the IPL nowadays, in India, they're doing commentary in every regional languages. So while they're watching the IPL, so they hear about the terms of dew, in swing, out swing. So they learn something new while watching IPL. So IPL somehow, giving the common people about the knowledge of cricket. So somehow it develops cricket, even though there's not even competition between both bat and ball. It's teaching new audience something about cricket. So I believe,
Introducing him to it.
yeah, introducing to cricket. But we need to not tinkering the basic rules and adding rules like impact play to spice of things. That's not needed. So I
totally
love
agree.
both the shorter formats and the longer formats. But shorter formats are much needed nowadays to get people invested into the cricket.
Yeah, all very fair points, Ray. I think we've done very well covering that. So I reckon we should take a break now and then come back for IPL roundup from Ray and County Champs roundup, also from Ray, but from me and Luke as well. See you in a moment. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the Cricket Council podcast. After all that IPL chat, we're going to continue IPL chat basically. Ray, as our resident expert on the format, on the competition, talk us through some of the main talking points for the past few days.
Yeah. So in IPL now, it's in the middle phase, the exciting phase. So we are nearing the fag end. Who is going to qualify for the playoffs? And the teams that are doing good are Rajasthan Royals, Kolkata Knight Riders, Lucknow, and Hyderabad. These are the 4 teams who are now at the top 4 of the table. And with the English players perspective, I think the new addition to the IPL is Richard Gleeson.
Yes.
So the right arm fast bowler who clicks 140 plus easily. So he got picked by the Chennai Super Kings in place of Devon Conway, who got injured. And Josh Butler scored a brilliant century to chase 200 plus against Bangalore. And Moeen Ali started playing for CSK, continuously. And then Sam Curran opening the batting for Punjab Kings.
Nice. How's he doing?
That's a new thing for the England. I don't know I'm not sure he's not going to open for the England, but he
No,
started
he won't,
opening
he
the
won't.
batting for Punjab Kings. And about my team, Mumbai Indians,
They're not doing very well,
they
are
are
they?
like
They're bottom,
they
right?
are at the eighth in the table. They're
Yeah.
the bottom of the table. But as Luke said in the last podcast, the earlier stages are a bit boring. Even though you lost so many matches in the first 7 games, you can still qualify by winning the last 6 or 5. So now the real tournament starts. Every
Okay.
team has 6 or 7 games remaining. They need to win a maximum of 5 or 4, the bottom teams, to qualify for the playoffs. So anything can happen from here. Let's see.
Yeah. Who do you think's gonna win?
Uh, no, right now, Rajasthan and Kolkata, Hyderabad. These 3 teams are the heavyweights.
Who's gonna win?
Uh,
One team.
for me, I want Mumbai Indians to win, but I think Hyderabad is going to win this year. With Pat Cummins having the luck of trophies, I think
Okay.
Hyderabad is going to win.
Fair enough. You heard it here first. So on from that, it's County Champs week 4, game 4. That's just started basically literally 20 minutes ago. We'll start with last week's results. In the first division, Nottinghamshire and Somerset drew. Surrey beat Kent by an innings. Warwickshire and Hampshire drew. That's not right. There's more than that. And Lancs drew, didn't they, as well? Sorry, Crick Info's let me down a little bit here. Yeah, Lancs got beaten by Essex by an innings. Worcestershire and Durham drew. I mean, Surrey are good, aren't they? I suppose.
Yeah, they are.
They've got
And
lots of good players.
Yeah, so
Kent's bowling attack is particularly weak, I think. I think they're really
Yeah.
going to struggle this year unless their batsmen
Yeah.
can bail them out.
Yeah.
so I have a question. So when was the last time Surrey lost their county match?
Oh, I don't know. That's a great question. It's gonna
No,
turn out they lost last week or some shit. No,
I think they did. I think they did lose last year, but when they'd
Okay.
already won the
Ah,
title, I think
yeah.
they were
on the beach
yeah.
in the pub,
And
I
I think
suppose.
they were celebrating quite hard probably the night before.
Yeah, let a few runs
So how
slip.
many players from England are playing for Surrey? 4 or 5, right?
I saw the Surrey team on my Instagram a moment ago. Give me a moment. Here we go. Yeah, Burns, so he's ex-England, Sibley, ex-England, Pope, current England, Dan Lawrence, kind of current England, Gus Atkinson, then plus they've got Kemar Roach, Brian Patel. Like they've got plenty of high caliber players.
That team could probably beat a few Test nations, I reckon.
Yeah, that's what I'm
beat
trying
South
to tell. So
Africa's
it's like an England, yeah.
dodgy touring side to New Zealand, didn't it?
Yeah.
So what happened? Surrey will pick the great England players, or no, the players started playing for Surrey and they'll become the England greats.
I think they do have a good youth system, but also I think they're the richest county. So like Lawrence was playing at Essex, they just pinched him.
Yeah.
Sibley started at Surrey, went away for a bit and then came back. Burns, I'm not sure. I don't think he was originally Surrey. I don't know where he grew up playing his cricket. But yeah, obviously Kemar Roach is a great overseas player to have. They've got Dan Worrell, the Australian as well, who's an unbelievably good bowler. And then yeah, obviously I think Ollie Pope's been with them since he was under 9s as well. So I guess they've got quite a good catchment area being in London.
Yeah. They've also got 115 charges against them.
Really? What's that for?
No, it's oh come on, Luke. I thought you'd be all over that. 115 charges, richest club, always
Oh,
winning.
Man City.
There we go.
Yeah, they are very much the Man City of the Premier League, of the County Championship even.
Yeah. On to our main interest, which is Sussex. Ray, you were there. How was it being in the presence of great like Chester or Chester?
It's just surreal for me, watching Pujara very closely, have a chance to speak with him. The environment there is totally opposite to the Indian stadiums. In India, you are not even allowed to go near to the place, go near to the dugouts.
Yeah.
But here it's totally opposite. I know it's quite surreal for me as an Indian fan, but I totally loved it. They allow me to walk through the field, go nearby the pitches. I can see what's happening in the pitch, how the pitch is. I can take photos, and that's a really great opportunity for the young people here in Sussex, to get more attracted towards the game. I love the those things done by the clubs, counties.
Yeah.
I feel India also need to adapt to these kind of things, but it's very hard for the Indian state teams or country BCI to do that because the crowd and the people are too large.
Many people in the crowd. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's literally it. It's the fact is, how many people do you think were there on Monday? Maybe about 100, compared to like 50,000 in Eden Gardens in Delhi or whatever.
50,000.
Like it's just a different ball. You're no way you can like let fans on the pitch or whatever. Like it's just a different kettle of fish. Luke, did you see any of the game? Obviously, just to quickly go through the scorecard. Well, Sussex won by 4 wickets. Gloucester were bowled out for 417. Sussex then followed with a really good 479. They then managed to bowl Gloss out cheaply for 205 before chasing down the deficit 144 for the loss of 6 wickets. Did you see much of the game, Luke?
I didn't catch much of it actually. I'm just looking at the scorecard now. Simpson 78 of 174.
Simpson's in great
with a strike rate of 44. That is County Championship.
Simpson, stop doing these things to me like that.
Pujara also got runs in both innings, so you must have been happy, Ray.
Yeah.
Although he got run out in the first innings, so I think that's not too bad for Pujara, is it? He's not the greatest runner.
No. Pujara is always known for runouts.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Even in the second innings, he had quite
hiccups
with the Danny Lamb.
Yeah,
I could beat Pujara in 100 meter sprint.
You heard it here first. Come on, Chester. Let's see it.
We need to go to the game against Yorkshire in May 7th and ask Pujara for a competition with Luke.
Yeah, I'm up for
that. Sprinting across the pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing stuff. Jaden Seals did the big wicket with the stumps cartwheel. Was that last week with his cartwheel wicket?
Yeah, last week.
He started really well, hasn't he?
Seals? Yeah. He's been looked really threatening. And I thought they played really well. It's great to see. There's so many contributions coming through. Like Seals, Danny Lamb took 3 in the first innings. Hudson Prentice bagged a wicket. Jack Carson, he's been a revelation. He bowls leggies, right? Have I remembered that right, or is it off breaks? Carson. I should know that.
With Jack Carson?
Yeah.
I think off break.
It's off breaks.
Jack Carson is an off break bowler.
Yeah. I'm going to click on it.
Yeah, Danny Lamb's contribution to the bat is we That's as a low order batsman, he contributed too much for the Sussex team in the last 2 matches.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, he came down from
Yeah,
Lancashire, right?
yeah. I
Yeah,
think last season he played for Lang.
yeah. Didn't really get much of a look in from my vagaries of reading
Mhm.
on it. I was actually there on Sunday evening.
Oh, oh,
It was the coldest ground I've ever been to by miles. Have
yeah.
you watched a game there yet, Luke?
Where's that? Sorry.
At Hove?
Yeah.
Freezing, man.
Yeah, I guess you get the wind off the sea, right?
And
Yeah.
the sun goes behind the shark stand, and it's like sort of you're like plunged into sort of Arctic Circle.
My tooth were clattering. My tooth were clattering while watching the match. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's freezing. It's a
very
freezing cold place. I ended up watching the Coventry game on my phone the whole time, pretty much. You know, I think I had it on in my ears on commentary, and Coventry got a second goal, and I was like, oh, I better watch this. And well, let's not have let's not have a chat about offside. Let's not go there. Anything more to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to single out Middlesex beating Yorkshire. I think that's a big win.
Yeah, the England
Yorkshire
boys
had
struggled a bit.
Yeah, Root and Brooke. And yeah, Middlesex have been struggling for the last couple of years, so I think that's a massive win for them. A 50 for De Caris.
That's
do you guys know?
Son, right?
Yeah, Atherton's son. Yeah, and I just on that I wanted to talk about Flintoff's son.
yeah.
Or
I saw
both.
quite a few videos.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, both his sons are in the second 11 at Lancashire, and one of them got 100. And yeah, I think it's Rocky. The way he bats is exactly like his dad. So yeah, that's all very exciting. I'm getting quite hyped, and I hope to see him in the England side one day.
I just continue the legacy perfectly. I just had to really restrain from attempting the worst Rocky impression of all time.
It's not a great name, is it, Rocky?
Nah,
Rocky.
It's just gonna get the yo Adrian. I can't do it. Yeah, I mean, I've been basically hitting a few sixes on Instagram. Is sort of the scope of my engagement with that one. But yeah, it's good to see.
Looking very good.
I remember Fred turned up to watch him play at Sefton Park in Liverpool when I was at uni there. And it was just like, it was quite an odd thing. It's like someone came over, like, oh yeah, by the way, Freddie Flintoff's here. And then he just sort of sauntered past in his bucket cap and a t-shirt kind of thing, but bottled it, didn't speak to him, which is a bit of an error.
He seems like I reckon he would be a nice lad as well.
Oh yeah, I think it was just because he was like, everyone was like pretending they didn't know who he was, so I didn't want to go and start.
Yeah.
Sort of just like saying, I don't know, asking him about fucking whatever went on.
That's quite opposite to the Indian fan mindset, right? No, we don't feel embarrassed to ask some photos or autographs to players, but you guys have that, feel of, what do you say? Don't ask for the photos,
Just like
the autographs.
Embarrassed / I just don't want to sort of pester them. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, understood.
Like I remember this is turning into loose anecdotes from me. It's boring loose anecdotes from me. The Sunderland team were in Newcastle Airport when I was flying somewhere. And I support Sunderland. So I was like, oh my God. It's like literally the whole team were there. And a fellow Macca went and it was like 6 a.m. A fellow Macca went and asked Aidan McGeady for a picture, and Aidan just looked so pissed off. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that as well. So maybe it's me. Maybe it's just me not wanting to go and disturb players. I don't know. Anything to add?
Had a great chat. Thanks for the lovely words.
Fantastic. Right. Well, in that case, this has been the Cricket Council podcast. I've been Will Kirkup. Rayan Amalan, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for chatting.
Yeah, thank you.
And Luke Ashbery, thank you, mate.
Cheers, boys. Enjoyed it. Speak soon.
Yeah.
Brilliant
See you soon.
stuff. Yeah. See you later, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.